Carly, this is Dan.
Hey, Dan, it's Corey with Relentless Industries. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Wanted to see, did you guys get all, I know we talked the other day, did you get all my dealer stuff over there?
Give me a second here. All right, Corey, I'm sorry, what was the name of the company?
Relentless Industries.
Relentless. Sounds really familiar.
Well, that might be a good sign.
Yeah, let me see here.
I'm hoping it becomes terribly familiar.
Well, let's see. Let's see if I've even got it to start. But because it sounds familiar, I would imagine I do. Relentless Industries. Cool. Yeah, man, I've got everything here.
Perfect. I think we're going to go ahead and place first order.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Because the account isn't actually processed until that first order's in, so you shouldn't be in here yet. Let me double check and make sure no one put you in the system here. Nope. All right.
Okay. I don't know. I called it earlier. The extension I hit, I got somebody in technical support, I think, but I wanted to touch base with you. Basically, I want to hit the ground running with the best setup I can advertise to my customers. I mean, you know, have a line of products on the truck that they can see, touch, feel, drive, whatever.
We're all about it.
So I'm pretty sure it was you I talked to last week when we set this up, isn't it?
It would have been me if it was in tech.
No, it was, I called, I don't know who I talked to. I thought it was you, but basically, okay, so personal truck, shop truck out here is a 17 Super Duty F350.
Sorry, you keep cutting in and out on me a little bit there, Corey. What was that? It was a 17 what?
17 F350 Super Duty.
Awesome. Okay.
Single wheel. It is, okay, let me tell you what I do with the truck to make sure whatever I do, I don't want to screw myself and have a product or, you know, have the truck set up to where it does not work. It will see dunes, some off-road use. A lot of what it's going to see, it pulls our 38-foot fifth wheel camper.
Okay.
It pulls it to all the off-road events and everything else. Obviously, I'd rather do the full kit on the pin top 2.5.
Were you looking at 2.5 or 4.5?
2.5.
Okay.
So basically, I want to make sure that I'm not going to set myself up for failure pulling this camper. So
why would you be setting yourself up for failure, out of curiosity?
Well, with the Deaver pack on there, I don't know if I'm going to going from the 350 that doesn't need bags right now with the overloads.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's going to be a massive change in load capacity. You know, from a 350, I mean, they're rating these trucks absolutely ridiculous at this point now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to change it. But guys who have big trailers and 350s with Deavers, I always tell them get airbags, period. If you have a huge trailer, you're going to need airbags.
And that was my plan. I just wondered if you guys had anybody that solely relied on load capacity out of those bags, and that it worked well with those Deavers.
They work okay. I personally, my personal friend has exactly that setup, right? So he's got our full-blown kit, radius arms, pin top, full springs in the back, has a big old trailer. He had to put airbags on it. They've always been massively problematic to ride quality. Driving his truck around town, you really don't notice him too much. I was pleasantly surprised. He did like an airlift kit with a two-wheel drive lower bracket because the airbag kits that they have available for him,
rely on the block.
They rely on the block, which is, obviously eliminated by leaf springs. You've done your homework there. So, you know, the two-wheel drive brackets attached to the actual axle tube, then you build a spacer or you get the airlift spacer that lifts the Daystar cradle up off the lower mount, and it allows full travel of the rear end, but it will still bump off the airbags in big hits because the collapsed dimension of the airbag in whatever given pressure you're running as a minimum is the new bump stop length, right?
Travel,
Right. So you're giving up compression travel no matter what you do. So I'm not a big fan of them, but they are a necessary evil for guys with huge trailers, and that's why I like the 4.5 kits, because for the 4.5 inch kits, we do long travel airbags. And long travel airbags are going to be much, 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 much better than those short travel airbags. So,
and my biggest dilemma with that is, I would basically right now I'm going to have to figure out once the truck's set up, I'm going to have to figure out what to do to get this camper set back up to match the truck, because obviously doing the full Beavers and 37s.
Oh, I'm with you. And that's it. If you can't afford the height, you can't afford the height, you know. Bed rail clearance isn't something you can mess with, you know.
No, and I'm at 6 inches on 35s and stock suspension right now.
And even 6 inches is, I mean,
it's pretty tight.
It's comfortable until you start getting, I mean, you said you're in the dunes, you know, you start getting a little off camber with that, and you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and granted, like the dunes that we frequent, because we're out east, but you know, there's parking lots, so I don't have to worry about traveling across the sand with the camper attached to it. So I'm okay there.
Sure.
I won't have any concerns with that. But yeah, right now, you know, we got a 2018 Jayco camper behind this thing. This is already in the lowest spring perch from the factory. The axles are flipped, so at this point, I'm probably gonna have to drop a subframe under this thing to get my height back where I need it.
Right.
But basically, I just wanted to make sure.
Sounds like you're doing everything you can, you know. But if I were you, that's exactly what I would do: is keep it at the 2.5 inch and 35s. Maybe go 37s if you're comfortable with a little bit more. But yeah, that one's kind of on you.
37s. Because honestly, right now, I think 35s look goofy on the truck, and it's stock. I mean,
I got to agree. I mean, we got guys on our 4.5 kits. Guys are tucking 40s. So.
Oh, I know. I've seen 8-lug threw a set of 40s on that.
8-lug, Holman Off Road did it. We've had a few different guys doing it. So, yeah, it's not even like a new thing anymore.
No, it's just it's the normal now.
Right. So that being said, I mean, yeah, 37s look right at home with that leveling system, but you just got to make sure you've got the room to work, you know.
Camper to deal with, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, 37s look perfect with the full pin top kit on the 2.5.
I agree 100%. But
basically, when I asked if it was a bad idea, I basically was just looking at relying on those airbags for my load capacity if I was going to get into a problem from a safety aspect, you know.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of airbags. That's really what it comes down to. But I've never had a trailer. I never had a trailer big enough for it to be a necessary evil for me. That's really what it is. I hate air, whether it be for any application other than breathing, right? I mean, it just.
Yep, I agree.
If you've got load bars on the truck, but that's a bumper pull thing. If you've got a giant fifth wheel in the back, you have to have them. They're volatile. That's just all that there is to it. They're unpredictable and they're volatile.
With the factory leaf setup and overloads, basically right now I can throw this thing on there and it perfectly levels the truck with no bags, no help. It goes down the road perfect. So that's why I question if I should do.
My God, what's the tongue weight on that thing?
It's I want to say it was around like 1,600 to 1,700 pounds.
That's really not that bad. When I'm picturing new fifth wheel, I'm thinking, something ridiculous. I mean, my buddy just got a brand new one. It's got like 3,400 pounds of tongue weight, which is why I said you pretty much need airbags if it's a fifth wheel.
Yeah.
And that's on his 250, believe it or not.
Yeah, screw that. I wouldn't even want to deal with that thing.
And he's doing things he shouldn't be doing, but that's a different story. But anyway, I mean, 1,600 pounds of tongue weight. I wouldn't sweat that too much being over the rear axle, but you will absolutely sag with the Devers. So that being said, you could do Timbrins, which is something a lot of guys do. You could do airbags. You do whatever you're comfortable with.
Well, and I just happened doing my research on this before I called you guys. I did find out that Firestone makes an outboard airbag that goes over the leaf.
And talking about, I don't know about that either, That's the other problem. Outboard the frame rail, you start getting into airbag to tire issues. If you get a blowout in your tire and you blow out your airbag, because that's going to happen, then you've really got a bad day. And beyond that, I don't know how that's going to work with our spring perch, So you've got the factory perch on the axle, then our leaf springs go on that, no different than the factory ones do. And then the upper spring plate, which I would imagine that the Firestone kit replaces the upper spring plate there.
I haven't looked that far.
If it sits on top of the leaf spring, then the only thing it could really do is replace the upper spring plate that kind of sandwiches the spring to the axle.
Actually, you know what? It doesn't. It has a standoff. It has a standoff plate that clamps around the spring front and back. Which I would say that's even worse. That's kind of. I would think that would interfere with the way the spring.
Well, and I guess what I was going to say with that is then obviously you're going to have a static mount up on the frame rail, right? So
correct.
We modify the center pin position. So that would be a pretty big issue with that, is that we move the center pin forward of center so that, when the shackle lays all the way back on full compression, that tire is perfectly centered in the wheel well. But that's different than the factory is. So if the Firestone kit is set up for factory center pin position as well as a static mount on the frame, then you've obviously got some sort of diagonal airbag set up there that just isn't made to do what it's doing.
And actually, the setup that I found was on your Devers or your kit, and you are correct. The bag was sitting diagonal.
Yeah, I would not trust that. Is it like a tapered piston bag where it's like a sleeve bag instead of a double bellow?
Yeah.
I think I have seen that. That's like their light duty bag too. So I don't know that I would trust that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like I said, I'm going to tell you not to buy any. I'll always help you find a reason not to buy a double bellow airbag kit. But the fact is, you probably need it. So.
Well, that's what sucks. That's the worst part, is this is a dual-purpose truck. So
if the worst part about your day is that you got to deal with some airbags on your brand new truck and your brand new trailer, I'd say that you're doing all right.
Too bad. Yeah, that's what I think.
It could be a lot worse, right?
And that's basically, I just want to make sure that I'm not setting anybody up for a safety issue. You
only have a safety issue if the bags blow up. But even if that's the case, the full springs, if it's only 1,600 pounds of tongue weight, they're going to catch you. So if it was 3,500 pounds, then you've got a safety concern there. But no, I mean, with what you're working with, I wouldn't sweat it at all.
Okay. Well, I suppose at that point we'll probably, I think we'll just do the Devers and hope for the best. I
like your style. The good news is the Devers don't pigeonhole you into anything. You can get airbags.
No, I can get the springs back off and call it a day.
You wouldn't have to. You just put the airbags on.
Oh, yeah. Nope. Irregardless, I'll use the airbags, because if not, I'm sure this truck would be squatted so bad it'd be terrible.
Right. I guess my point is to say that, there's a million people out there running airbags with no issues at all. We just don't. It's not a safety concern. It's more that we just don't like the way that they function. That's really what it comes down to. But I would not tell you that safety would be a valid concern as to a reason not to run airbags. I mean, hell, we run them, Yeah. So.
Well, and that was just. And you guys don't have any intentions of working on a long travel bag for the 2.5, right?
It's not that we don't have intentions. We'd already have it out if it was capable, or if it was possible. The problem is we use the exact same spring for the 2.5 and the 4.5, but the 2.5 is relaxed a couple inches. Well, the shocks work too, because the bump stops are obviously set up for that. So the issue is compressed, the leaf springs are in the same place. Extended, the leaf springs are in the same place. Same goes for the shocks. The zone of travel is identical. The only thing difference between the two is going to be the ride height. What that means is it would run the 4.5 airbag kit, because we need the extended length and the collapse dimension works. The problem is the piston rides 2 inches deeper into the bag at ride height, and that bag rubber is actually going to rub the lower mount. There's no getting around it. So it's not that we're not interested in doing it, it's that it's not possible to do it. And that's where you run into a safety concern, is if you got rubber rubbing on a, lower bag mount.
Yeah. Which that makes sense. I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll just run with it, and then worst case.
All right, you want to do a 2.5 pin top. Give me a second here and I will start this order for you, because you did want to start the order, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing a pin top 2.5 for 2017 plus. We are doing full springs. And were you doing the radius arms with it too?
Yeah, how far? That's what I was getting ready to ask, is how far out those were.
About 4 to 5 weeks right now. So we could ship the whole kit. You can install everything, then we'll ship the radius arms when they come in.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's what I was talking to. I can't remember his name from Poly Performance. They have a set of radius arms sitting on the shelf. That's why I didn't know if that'd screw up a deal between you and me if I grabbed them from them since they had a set sitting there.
No, go ahead. Either way, I'll get you a deal on the kit.
Okay, I just wondered because they said I kind of work with him on some of my Jeep stuff.
I'm not sweating it at all. As long as you get all the products on the truck, I'm not worried about it. I'll still, basically get you to the buy-in price.
Yeah, I think I'll lose 5% because I think when you and I talked today, you said you could do 30 on a shop truck, but I think they said they'd be like 25 plus freight on those. So
30 on a shop truck.
Oh.
Are you sure you were talking to me?
I thought it was you, but I don't know who.
So it depends. I mean, honestly, what happens with shop trucks is those come after developing rapport. That's the big thing. There are way too many people that have kind of ruined that deal for you. And that
gotcha.
A lot of guys call in and they talk about their, how much they're going to do, but they have to put it on their truck first. And it's not to say that anybody's lying, but too many people go dormant after doing that. And I wish it wasn't the case, because I'm all about it, man. I mean, it makes sense that, asking someone to get a bunch of sales in before you do a shop truck is putting the cart before the horse. But, setting up shop trucks before you actually have a, working relationship.
I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah, it's pretty much setting yourself up for failure is how it's been. So it's always been a bummer. So if there's a proven sales history and then you get a shop truck, then yeah, you're right. We'll go about 30% back, give or take, on a shop truck. But when it's the initial, yeah, we usually go about 15 to 20.
It was radio that I talked to.
Oh, that was a long time ago. Radio doesn't work here anymore.
This would have been when we first started talking about all this. I talked to radio, and then that must not have been me that I talked to today. Maybe was there Chris? Maybe.
Yeah, Chris is the customer support guy here. I'm the sales manager here.
Okay, that may have been him then that I spoke with when I sent over all my dealer info.
Sure. So I received it, and it's all in process. Everything's good to go. I said, on this one, I'm happy to do 20 back for you, which, because it's for a shop truck and you're doing the radius arms and everything, but normally that would be purchased at 15% until you actually have a rapport, so to speak, or we've developed one between the two of us. So if that works for you, man, I'll go ahead and get it done for you, and you could order the arms from Poly.
So I guess if that's the case, would I be better off to sell some kits first? Just so you guys know that I'm a serious contender and not just trying to build this one?
No. I mean, if I'm giving you a deal on this and you want it for your truck, you do with it what you'd like. If you want to, show me that you're going to sell a lot of kits, then sell a lot of kits, because of this kit. I have it's not putting a bad taste in our mouth because you're buying a kit for your truck first, if that's what you're asking. We're all about that. In fact, that shows you extending the olive branch, and that you're kind of trying to get something done here, and we're meeting you halfway on a bigger discount than we would do on an initial kit order, and, we'll see where we go from there.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was Chris that I spoke with that day. I got all the emails right here.
Okay. Yeah, it's no problem. I'm not sweating it.
Yep, no problem.
We're happy to get you set up, get another Carly truck sitting in front of another shop, and hopefully that pushes some sales for you and for us.
That's what I'm hoping.
For every hook you throw in, you don't get a bite, right? But every now and then we're going to get a shop that latches on and does some good business with us. So and
that's exactly what I'm hoping for.
Well, then let's start it off. I'll get this kit coming. You order the arms from Poly, and I guess we'll start selling some Carly parts.
That sounds good to me. Let's see. So basically, we're looking at. I'm going to be ordering the springs, the base kit, and all I need to get from Poly is just those arms that they still have.
Correct. I've got the base kit and the full springs for you. If cost is $4,088, retail is $5,110. And then, you just order the arms from Poly.
Okay, so then I owe you $4,088 today.
I've got MasterCard ending in 8134, it looks like, from the dealer app.
Yep, that should be right.
Then we'll go ahead and get it coming for you. You want me to put shop truck or something on the PO?
That's fine. How soon will that go out? Tomorrow?
I've got it in stock. So it's freight. It might take 1 or 2 days to get out once it's actually built and scheduled. But tomorrow's not unfeasible. It might happen. I would tell you plan on Wednesday.
Yep. I was just trying to plan on when I needed to I figured once it was close, I'd get the truck tore down the day before and be ready for it.
Right. I wouldn't get the truck tore down until you get the pro number and you've got, you know, a landing date.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah. Which is tore down for Addictive's bumpers right now anyway, so it's
right on, man. We'll send us some pictures when this thing's done.
Yeah, it should look pretty good. I got the new Stealth Fighter bumpers that I had to work for 3 months to talk Addictive Desert to build for the Super Duty.
Which one did you do?
I got the Stealth Fighter for the front and rear. I got the first ones they built, actually. I begged them for 3 months to build these bumpers, and they finally did it.
Yeah, the Stealth line was actually one of the only bumpers that they built that I liked.
Me too. That's the problem. They had the Stealth.
They had the Honey Badger, and then they had their tube bumpers. They wanted $3,000 for them.
Yeah, I didn't like those, but these Stealth Fighters, they had them on the Raptor, the second-gen Raptor, and I fell in love with that. And I kept begging them. I was like, dude, please build this for the Super Duty. It'll be so much cooler than what you have.
Well, it's too funny. Now you say that, I go on their website, and the very, very first image is their Stealth Fighter from 2017.
On that white truck.
Yeah, that's a great-looking bumper.
Yeah. I thought so, too. The back
that's
one looks
way nicer than that bullshit they were putting out with the Honey Badger and that stupid-looking tube bumper.
Yeah, and then they
now the big question on the Stealth. Yeah, I can get behind that. They still didn't do what I would prefer, but
what was that?
I don't like what they do with that Stealth. How they do for like the side profile of it. They don't plate in enough. You can still see
see right through
the core support, the sway bar drop, the body mount. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a finished product to me on that.
Yeah, and that was my only complaint when I hung it.
But from the front, that thing is, is super sexy.
It profiles that truck pretty well.
Well, and again, I nitpick because I'm in the business and I've seen every bumper out there. I've run everything, and
Yep.
I mean, the first picture of it is some 22 by 14s or something on a Dirt Logic kit. So it's obviously not a function thing, but all you can see in there is the bump stop and the mounting hardware.
Oh, I know, and that's why when I seen it on that truck, I was like, well, I said I just have to keep in mind that my truck's not going to be goofy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I do though. I dig the line. It's a really, really nice looking. I like the minimalist design. It's super clean. But the thing is, it's got the plate set up on it, so it almost looks like you desire more of a finished product because it's not a tube bumper, But it's kind of a hybrid. But I dig it.
Yeah, I don't get behind that tube bumper very much either. That wasn't my favorite.
Right.
That definitely.
No, it looks great. I'm anxious to see this truck done.
It should look good. It's a magnetic gray platinum. I don't know what wheels I'm going to do yet because everything that I want seems to be years away.
Yeah, that's how wheels go.
As of right now, I'm kind of playing. I was going to do the trail readies, but he said he's still another 6 weeks out. It sounds like.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to just throw a set of race line Defenders on it for now in either the anthracite finish.
What
or
size are you doing? Because I'll warn you, those things are ugly as sin if you get them in 20s. I ran them on my truck.
Oh, crap. That's what I was going to do.
I did the 20s that were the machined face with the black everywhere, and they ended up looking pretty hokey. In 17s, they look okay.
I'm sorry. It's the Defender, I think.
That's the one that I ran was a Defender.
Or no, I'm sorry, the Clutch. That's what I'm thinking of.
The Clutch are a way better looking wheel. That's the one that you said you saw the 8-lug truck where they just did the 40s on the 4.5.
17s on his.
Yes, that's a much better looking wheel. George's truck turned out really nice.
I agree. You're right. The Defenders are kind of.
I put them on because it looked great. It was I put them on when they first came out, and God, did I regret it.
They look killer in the 17.
Agreed.
But
yeah, I saw them on that one that they took to that whoever took to SEMA. I can't remember what it was, but in the 17s, and they look good. But yeah, you're exactly right. So that should be an awesome build.
I hope so. We just ordered $2,000 worth of Baja Designs lights for it. And,
nice.
I think I'm going to throw it on 37 1250 Nitto Terras, or not Terras, Ridge Grapplers. I
just put those on my truck. You'll love them. They ride hard as shit, but they're a nice tire. Yeah, I put them a 37 12.5 18s on, and those things I got them at 37 in the front, 32 in the rear, and they're still pretty jarring compared to the fuel mud terrains I took off. Well, and all my customers seem to love these Ridges. Yeah, they love it. Customers love tires that last 50,000 miles, not ones that ride well. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So, well, I'll go ahead and get this order in for you. Let me see here. We're good to go on that, right? It's going to 38 North State Street, or North State Road 13? Correct.
38
awesome.
State Road.
Let me submit that. Were you going to say something else? Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, we should be good. That sounds right. I was going to ask you one thing. What the hell was it? When you guys do these installs, are you dropping the tank to pull your leaf spring bolt, or are you guys cutting it off and replacing it?
No, we don't drop the tank unless we absolutely have to. So
are you guys just cutting the old bolt off and replacing
it? Neither. What we did on our shop truck, because we knew we were going to be doing a few sets of leaf springs, if you drop the tank straps and put a jack under it, you could lower it just enough without disconnecting anything to fight the bolt a little bit and get it out from the inside. And then once the bolt is out, jack the tank back up, put everything back in place. In the instructions for the full leaf spring, I actually show you or I give you a full cut length to go ahead and snap that bolt. And then put it in the opposite direction. There's no reason it needs to go in from the inside of the frame out. So, I give you a cut length on the bolt to go ahead and just bandsaw the bolt, clean up the threads, and then throw it in the opposite direction when you put in the leaf springs. And we did that so it was going to be easy to pull the leaf springs out in the future because we knew we were going from a 2.5 to a 4.5, maybe testing different heights, whatever. So, and that makes life a lot easier. But, just be careful when you're messing around with the tank and all the little capture bolts in the frame. One of the other things that I would recommend, after hearing enough customers talk about it, don't use an impact when you're pulling the little bolts out to secure the fuel tank straps. Use a ratchet because there's a cheap little capture nut in there and you will snap it. And it'll be hell trying to get them out.
So you're saying to go through and hold that capture nut with a socket?
No, I'm saying use a socket and just pull them out gently instead of hitting them with your electric impact or something that might bust the capture.
So turn them out by hand.
Just use hand tools when you're disconnecting the fuel tank.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think...
Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Just obviously read the instructions before you put it in. Not that you don't know how to do this, being a shop, but there's obviously we put a little bit more detail into our instructions than most people do.
Yeah, and that's why I don't sell cheap lift kits and stuff. I don't really sell lift kits anymore.
No, it sounds like you're building a hell of a truck and you know quality product when you see it. So.
Yep, that's all we do here. I don't deal with anything cheap or stuff that I wouldn't put on my own truck. So. Well,
it'll be nice to get a kit on your truck, and then hopefully we'll start setting up some of your customers because you'll have quite the beacon sitting out front of your shop there. It'll be a badass build for sure.
Yep, it should look pretty tough all said and done.
Well, send me some pictures when it's all done, Corey.
Awesome. I appreciate it, sir.
I appreciate it, man. Your order's in. We're good to go, and I guess I'll wait for some pictures.
Awesome.
All right. See you, man.
I sure appreciate it.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right. Have a good one, buddy.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.